Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and I'm a Western astrologer and Twin Flame channel. And this is a video about the Libra new moon and solar eclipse taking place on October 2nd at 2:49 p.m. Eastern. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, please check a time zone converter for your local time. This will be the lunar update for all signs. Welcome back for another exciting lunar update. Few quick announcements. Star Club, my class where you can learn, practice, and share astrology in a community with me, closes its doors in 24 hours until 2025. I'm really excited to say there are 3 spots left. So if you want in on this one, this is the time to lock in your seat. Link to do that is below this video. Number 2, since this new moon solar eclipse is so heavily relationship focused, and you'll see when I get into the all signs, I was guided to bring back relationship synastry readings for a limited time. There are spaces in the calendar if you'd like to book a reading under relationship readings. As a heads up, my reading day is now on Fridays. I've been working toward doing less readings and more teaching and content creation for the past couple of years. If you've been with me a while, you know that I used to read 4 days a week. This year, I've been able to reduce the hours to 2 days, and now I'm down to 1 day, Fridays. It is possible I may add a second day, but for now, Fridays Eastern Time are the day. If that does not work for you, you can always book your reading and send your cues in advance so I can make a recording and send it back to you the day of your scheduled booking. Really excited to offer relationship readings again. I look forward to supporting you in your connections. The link to book is below this video. There's also, for those of you who are on my private list, when you received the email announcement about this eclipse, you will have found a savings code that you can use toward those relationship readings. You know, I like to reward my private listers. If you're not on the list yet, what are you doing? It's the best way to get insider information with me. Link for that is also below this video, and it's free. Gentle reminder, like the All Signs update, if you hear something that resonates or illuminates while you're listening, it's one of the best free ways to support the channel. And this works so I can keep making videos like this. The Lightworker Energy Update, usually published a week before this All Signs video drops, is the best way to get a handle on the energy of the lunation before it peaks. It'll also help you ground what you hear today so that you have more mastery with your choices as you listen for specifics with your sun, moon, and rising. All right. Really exciting. In the chat answering your questions while this airs, and for the first hour after the live, if you can catch me in the comments, I'll be able to answer your questions for that first hour after the live. Really good stuff. So excited to be here with you guys. Let's dive in. This Libra new moon solar eclipse takes place here, and we see it at the 10th degree of Libra. We also see that it's having some really interesting conversations. We see the Shaman's asteroid directly conjunct. We also see Lilith directly conjunct. And then we see Mercury, whom we all are familiar with, and Juno less than 10 degrees away. We also see this upside down horseshoe known as the South Node, which is what's causing this to be so heavily past focused. So let's get into the specifics for each one of these. When we see the Shaman's asteroid, which is this one, this is all about bringing things that we've learned from our journeys into the present time with us. In Libra, this is absolutely going to be lessons we've learned about relationships. Then we see Lilith. Lilith is all about recognition, about where we might be feeling slightly or a lot of it unmet in love, partnership, or collaboration in Libra. And where rather than tolerate ill treatment, we are prepared to either rectify it or leave. With Mercury being in the mix, this brings forward an energy of consciousness and communication and connection. This is going to allow all of the other elements of this eclipse and their blind spots to come to a place that's more in front of us so that we can understand it, see it, and talk about it. And lastly, we have Juno, one of the governing energies of Libra itself. It's a higher octave of Venus. We do see Juno there in the mix, amplifying and solidifying the focus of this new moon solar eclipse in Libra being about relationships, collaboration, equal partnership, equal give and take. She also highlights the of Libra. We see this conjunction to the South Node, and whenever we have an event that takes place at the South Node, it does seem to draw in some element of the past into the present for us to deal with. Now, new moons are new beginnings. New moon solar eclipses are heightened, amplified, huge new beginnings. For this new beginning to be tied up with the South Node in the way that it is, lets us know that there is some element from our past that will show itself at this eclipse. Now, I get more into detail about this in that Lightworker energy update, but eclipse energies begin up to 90 days before, peak at the eclipse, wane all the way through 90 days after. So that means the energy of this eclipse, if it hasn't shown itself yet, could show itself sometime between now and January 2nd. This eclipse is also square to Mars. We see Mars in water sign Cancer there. Mars is our movement maker, our action taker, our motivation and drive. In shadow, yes, of course, we do see Mars acting quite warlike and aggressive, but that's not all that Mars is. In the light, Mars is ambition, it is drive, it is passion to take action. With Mars in a water sign, this is only going to heighten the instinctual nature of the actions that we take. We may not even understand them until after we've done them, and the same may be true for whoever shows up to help you integrate and learn the lesson that this eclipse is bringing to the table. We see a trine to Cheroklo here inside of Aquarius, and this energy does bring blessing upon request. You do need to reach out and ask God, Allah, Holy Spirit, Jesus, whoever you pray to. Doesn't matter to me, but when you ask ancestors, angels, guides, and ascended masters for intercessory support at this eclipse and whatever situation shows itself, you will see answers show themselves, and they could come in some unexpected ways. So just be on the lookout for that. And then we see a square to this Ceres Pholus combination that I've spoken about all year long. Pholus represents toxins and poisons. We see Ceres, which talks about closures of seasons. They're both in the sign that deals with the structure of our lives. So as we have been moving into this eclipse, this is an energy that's talking about paying attention to where you are done, complete with a pattern or structure that has been toxic to you, and you're ready to let it go and release it because it no longer serves you. You have learned what there is to learn. This eclipse may, in fact, bring someone who represents these energies to the forefront for that type of either completion, evolution, or healing, if there isn't some format of continuation. So keep that in mind. And like I said, for greater details, make sure to have a listen to the Lightworker energy update. Lastly, we see a semi-sextile to Venus here to this new moon solar eclipse. And this is bringing in an element of love and connection, potentially in shadow. It could come with some power games, manipulation, secrets, control, fear, shame. However, it could also come with a ton of transformation, opportunities for evolution, and resurrection, where you have completed a cycle, learned what there is to learn. This may be the energy that brings something back to life now that you and another person are two completely different people. Really exciting energy. If you need any support, readings are in fact available. Book with me over at kmoonastro.com. And the link to do that is below this video. Now, let's get into this energy for each individual sign. Let's start with Aries. Now, if you are normally with me during the live and you're listening for this, just remember that you'll find your sign here in the upper left corner. There it says Aries. Aries, this new moon solar eclipse takes place in a sector of your chart that has to do with your relationships. And I'm specifically talking about partnerships, romantic and business. This one seems to be focused on a more romantic partnership than anything else for most, given that Juno's connection with the eclipse here heightens the marriage energy of Libra, specifically because Juno deals with marriage and connection of that caliber. We also see Venus in semi-sextile to this eclipse in the sector that deals with secrecy and intimacy. With the conjunction to the South Node that I mentioned in the introduction, there does seem to suggest that there's a recurrence of either a relationship or a relationship pattern that you may have thought was over. With it, though, comes the energy of Lilith and Makemake, thank goodness, who both insist on being included and honored. Lilith requires it, otherwise, she walks. And Makemake insisting on bringing the lessons it's learned into anything that may resurface now. For you, Aries, there will be a strong instinct to move backwards with your ruling planet, Mars, here in the sector that deals with home and family and roots, preparing to go in retrograde motion. Aries who would like a renewal with someone old, intentional to let the old patterns that you've outgrown be your guideposts of what to avoid and prepared to respond and be prepared to respond in a new way should problematic past energies show themselves. For Aries who are in fact done with the past, its lure may be tempting, so you'll need to be intentional about closing the doors fully. For Aries for whom this isn't a person, but a pattern, you'll be able to use the subsequent Mars retrograde period that goes through February to excavate the roots of this pattern so that you can evolve beyond it once and for all. And Aries, if you need any support with that, you can always book a reading with me over at kmoonastro.com. Link to do that is below this video. Aries, where it comes to work and money, this new moon solar eclipse does seem to indicate you're continuing to work through a process of releasing some pattern or structure that has not been healthy for you in your relationship to both. For some Aries, this can be a pattern of overworking, overspending, or under-earning, or operating outside of your area of expertise or gifting, or operating in some way outside of your ability when it comes to money. Trying to hold on to a job or role when it's time to let it go could also be a feature. You get the idea. This eclipse will make it easy to continue in work patterns that are no longer serving you, despite the signal arriving a while back that it's time for a change. The Mars retrograde down here at the base of the chart is going to make it easy to step back into old roles, old ways of being, in particular when it comes to family patterning. And so if your workplace is like one big old family, it's going to be important to use the Saturn trine to this particular new moon solar eclipse, and there's Saturn there, to put parameters and boundaries around anything that's not working so that this period through February isn't a complete backslide. If anyone can do a new thing in the face of something old, Aries, it's definitely going to be you. So stay focused, stay clear. You got this. Let's take a look now at the sign of Taurus at this new moon solar eclipse. All right, Taurus. For you, Taurus, this new moon solar eclipse takes place in a sector of the sky that has to do with your physical health, daily routines, and your bosses or employees. This could see some form of alliance pertaining to these arenas resurfacing, such as the returning of an old physician or therapist, rehiring an old employee, or returning to a gym or other health routine that previously benefited you. Because of the influence of Lilith and the shaman's asteroid, here's Lilith, here's Makemake, there is some indication that if something about it didn't work in the past, it can work better now if you are able to stay intentional about your outcomes. For a small interpersonal dynamic that involved some sort of power play, given the position in the sky that did not serve you in the past, as you learn how to navigate it in a new way. Your determination that this time be different is what will see you through whatever challenges show up at this eclipse. If you need any support with that, you know where to find me over at kmoonastro.com. Taurus, let's talk about your love life. This new moon solar eclipse could see the resurfacing of a behavioral pattern, mindset, or power dynamic that has not served you in the past. As this new moon solar eclipse has a bit of a confrontation energy going on here. As your confrontation with whatever it is from the past shows up, it's going to be important to remember everything you've learned from your healing journey with Makemake in the mix and everything that you were done with given Lilith's position. The Mars retrograde, starting within 2 days of this eclipse in the sector that deals with consciousness and communication as well as community, is actually going to help you move through a process of deeper excavation to make the workings of your subconscious mind more conscious to you, especially when it comes to love, since Mars in the sector of consciousness also governs your subconscious mind right here and your love sector right here. With that in mind, this eclipse is the kickoff point to turning the corner on some long-held shadows and patterns that you're truly ready to shed. Now, again, relying on that Taurian determination is definitely going to see you through. You got this, Taurus. Let's take a look at this new moon solar eclipse for Gemini. There we go. Gemini, this new moon solar eclipse takes place in a sector of the sky that has to do with children for you, both your inner child and your actual offspring. For you, Gemini, this new moon solar eclipse could see you resurrecting some old patterns in your relationship with children if you have them. And for those of you who have been wanting them and trying, this is where you might actually conceive. It is also quite possible that you dust off an old project or side hustle to breathe new life into it during this new moon solar eclipse. Where there has been any challenge making any of the above work in the past, this is your chance to take everything you've learned with Makemake and Lilith here in the mix at this eclipse, sitting right next to Mercury, which is all about your consciousness. This is your opportunity to apply what you've learned for better results, since this sector also deals with creativity and manifestation more generally. Further, there is a wonderful energy of partnership with this new moon solar eclipse. So, if in the past you did things alone and it did not work out, or you did things with a partner and had to learn some things about collaboration the hard way, this new moon solar eclipse is giving you the opportunity to be intentional about not sliding into old patterns of either undervaluing yourself or letting other people undervalue you. With Mars square, and this is indicated through the Mars square and the sector that deals with self-worth and self-esteem. And recall in the introduction, I talked about this closing out of patterns with Ceres and toxicity with Pholus, in this sector that deals with the way the world values you. As the Mars retrograde gets underway, this new moon solar eclipse energy will give you scenario after scenario through February of choices where you can let go left instead of right so that you can fulfill your dreams through whatever is resurfacing now. If you need some support cracking the code on situations that seem to be confusing on the surface with this new moon solar eclipse, definitely book with me over at kmoonastro.com. Link is below this video. Gemini, where it comes to love, this new moon solar eclipse may see you experiencing a period of new harmony and balance for those who are in a committed bond, and the potential for a fun and playful interlude or short season. For others, there is the potential for something old to pop up as something new, with a flirtation that may feel quite familiar since this eclipse is taking place in the house that's or the sector of the sky that specifically deals with dating, flirtation, and romance. This is all thanks to the governor of your romance sector, Jupiter, in harmony with this new moon solar eclipse and the asteroid that specifically represents spouses and partners. It does look lighthearted, flirty, very fun in nature. If there is something romantic from the past showing itself. So if this is something you've been manifesting, this is your green light. Take what you've learned about what you don't want and make new choices. But for a small few, there is a possibility of some love triangulated energy here, where this is one person you're committed to and a totally separate person you're entertaining romantically. It's a great idea to be intentional if that's not something you want, and to keep healthy boundaries between yourself and the past, with Juno, the commitment asteroid, speaking in harmony with Jupiter at this time in the sign of twins and doubles. Because of this, and Juno also speaking with Mars here, we do see our partnership asteroid in conversation from the house of flirtation in the sign that deals with partnership with double masculine energy at this particular eclipse. So, if a love triangle is not what you're going for, you know what to do. Otherwise, with the positioning of Mars in preparation for its retrograde and Venus in the sign that deals specifically with secrets and the past, this could become much more than what you've bargained for. So, Gemini, you know what to do. All right. Now, if you need some support navigating this, you can absolutely find me over at kmoonastro.com. Link to book is below this video. Gemini, in other areas of life, this new moon solar eclipse seems to bring about the resurfacing of an old way of making money through either some old project, and this could go into February, given the Mars retrograde and the sector that has to do with money earned and money spent. For some, this could be a part-time gig, but for those with full-time employment, this new moon solar eclipse could see you returning to an old role in your organization or an old project or task temporarily, especially since Mars is the ancient ruler of the sector of the sky that deals with service and day-to-day activities. Now, for some, this new moon solar eclipse could even bring about a relocation or a move that has something to do with your children, such as moving to get them better school access or be near grandchildren, or moving to be closer to them if you happen to be separated from their other parent and their other parent has primary care or custody, or helping your kids move out and start a new chapter of their own, especially if this is a relaunch from the nest for your kids. All in all, Gemini, this does seem to be the beginning of a chapter that's focused on helping you resurrect old dreams, and this may have felt right on time. Very excited for you, Gemini. Go get them. Let's take a look at this new moon solar eclipse now for the sign of Cancer. Cancer. Ooh, that is not what was supposed to happen. Not that button. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, it says I'm sharing the screen. Perfect. Okay. Cancer. This new moon solar eclipse takes place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with your home, your family, and your roots, right down here at the base of the chart. It may see you resurrecting an old wound or hurts or patterns in your family dynamic that gave you an opportunity, and this will give you an opportunity to relive them again, but in a different way. These patterns may show you how much you've grown and position you in a role of leadership by refusing to reprise your role in interactions that no longer serve you, given the position of Lilith and Make. This will be especially critical for those of you who have been in relationships with a parent where the parent has treated you more like a partner as opposed to being willing to just be your parent and let you be the child, with Ceres and Pholus here in that seventh house. If you've also been triangulated in your parents' relationship, this is where you're going to have to give yourself the opportunity to step out of that triangulation and let them deal with them. This configuration for some of you could occur as a function of bringing in a partner or an ex that your family may have had trouble accepting in the past. And for others, this could be a second marriage or attempt to blend your family with another family through relationship. Again, there is a strong energy here of taking lessons learned from the past and choosing to do things a different way. There are some of you that may experience a love connection with a childhood friend or a friend of the family whom you've met, but now suddenly there are sparks. For a small few of you, this does also look like moving in together or buying or selling a home for the purposes of a relationship moving to the next level. So if that's you, congratulations. I know you've worked hard for this moment. Where it comes to love specifically, Cancer, this new moon solar eclipse opens an opportunity to shed a pattern in your love life, in practice, in real life, in the 3D, as opposed to just mentally or emotionally. There does seem to be someone or people in your life that through interaction with them, you get to know how much you've truly grown and where your heart is actually at this time. So take it one step at a time and give yourself the space you need to make new choices. Now, if you need some support with that, you can always book with me over at Astro Cancer. Link is below this video. In other areas of life, this new moon solar eclipse seems to be the beginning of a resurrection of certain work-related projects and roles, with Mars preparing to go retrograde, since Mars is the governor of your work sector. Now, for some of you, this will be intentional and quite formal, where you're asked to step back into a position or project that you previously held, there's a contract signed, etc. Or you decide to take on or renew an old project if you work for yourself. But for others, this may be more instinctual and could see you picking up the slack or the pieces or slipping into roles that aren't necessarily yours to take on. It is going to be up to you to set up appropriate boundaries and communicate clearly what will and will not work for you, especially if you want to be compensated differently in order to make it work for you. All right, the sun, which governs your sector that deals specifically with earned income, is definitely featured at this eclipse, sitting right here with Mercury. Communication, communication, communication. This is huge. The Mars retrograde in your sign, Cancer, trine Saturn up here in the sector that deals with your raw potential, together are giving you an opportunity to redefine yourself in the eyes of others through being decisive and intentional about incorporating things you've learned in the past about what your deal breakers are. This is going to be key to experiencing success with this, both the eclipse and the Mars retrograde, and leveraging the Mars retrograde through February to elevate your status in your career. You can do a new thing, Cancer. I believe in you. Let's take a look at this new moon solar eclipse for the sign of Leo now. Okay. Let's make that a little bit bigger. There we go. Let me just make sure I'm sharing screen again. It's looking a little funny on my end, but I think it's sharing screen. So many charts. It's a lot of fun for me to be able to showcase it for you guys. But I'm also like, okay, wait, which button did I click? Thanks for your patience there. Leo, this new moon solar eclipse takes place in a part of the chart that has to do with your siblings, your cousins, your neighbors, soul family, and community. This does seem to put you back into some form of leadership role or taking on some role in these areas that you may have previously held. If in the past the connection has been a challenge, this is where you'll be able to take everything you've learned about what hasn't worked and up level. For a small few of you, this could see a new relationship proposal or wedding take place with the people in this area of life, adding more extensions to your extended family. There's also a group here that may find themselves extending their education in the arena of relationships or the law, equity, and justice. So if you're ready, already considering going back to school, this new moon solar eclipse is your green light to get started. Now, if you need any support around this, Leo, definitely take a booking with me over at kmoonastro.com. Link to do that is below this video. Let's take a look at your love sector now, Leo. This new moon solar eclipse can set you up for a second chance with someone you may have met in the past through your siblings, your cousins, or your neighbors. This may be the result of one or both of you now being single and being able to give the connection a shot. Or it could be that someone from this area looks less like family and more like a love interest at this time. Whereas before, you may have always been like a sister or like a brother to one another. Things can take a romantic turn at this time. Leo, you're in a season in which there's huge possibility where someone from your past could come back with both of the planets that govern your love sector, both Uranus here and Saturn here in retrograde motion. Given the atmosphere of this new moon solar eclipse being so past focused, this will give you the opportunity to give something a second chance that may not have worked out the way you wanted it to the first time. You may even find that you're the initiator of this redo with the Mars retrograde taking place in the sector of the sky that has to do with your subconscious mind, since Mars governs also the sector of second marriages for you here. You may feel compelled to reach out and reconnect with a person in the category of siblings, cousins, and neighbors, etc., just to see how they're doing and not know why. Understand that an action like this, taken at this time, could potentially lead to something romantic in the future if that's something you're open to. For those of you in a committed bond, this new moon solar eclipse does bring about some instinctive movement that may not make total sense right now to you or to your partner, but will be the beginning of a new chapter in your love life. Keep trusting that you know what you need, Leo, and be willing to ask yourself the deeper questions as you go, and you'll be in a perfect place to get the most of this new moon solar eclipse as it marks the kickoff to the Mars retrograde. If you heard something that resonates, Leo, definitely hit that like button. Let's go ahead and take a look at Virgo. Virgo, this new moon solar eclipse takes place in a part of your life that has to do with your money spent, money earned, as well as your self-worth and self-esteem right here. As well, this may be a period as well in which through having your eyes on the prize for an extended period of time, you're now reaping the rewards of a partnership or alliance that was always meant to yield results. For some, this new moon solar eclipse could see the inking of a deal that will yield financial results in time. But for most Virgos, this does seem to be the moment of reward. So congratulations. There also seems to be more elevation to come in the career sector in the next year, as expansive and opportunity bringing Jupiter finishes his transit through your career sector, and Uranus joins the party to bring surprises. So, this is the prelude to a continued advancement that looks like you have worked very hard for. Consistency, as you know, Virgo, is key. If you need any support, understanding how to line those ducks up and the choices available, bookings at kmoonastro.com. Link is below this video. I can help you with that through the lens of your natal chart. Where it comes to love, though, Virgo, this new moon solar eclipse sees communication between the ancient ruler of your love sector, that is Jupiter, inside of your work and public reputation sector, connecting with the eclipse in your finances sector. Here. Now, for some Virgos, this is where you'll make an official decision to put love on the back burner so that you can focus on work and the opportunities that are showing up. For other Virgos, this is where a work-related love situation can go to the next level. And still for others, if you and your partner have wanted to work together, this does seem to be where that step can get taken. Very exciting all around. For those of you in a committed bond, this new moon solar eclipse indicates you'll have the opportunity to take some new sort of step that solidifies the relationship and gives it validation, official status, or takes it to the next level. And it does seem like this, for some of you, Virgos, may be about taking some sort of financial step together. This does seem like for many in this category, this is like moving in together, making that sort of financial commitment. If you're looking for love, you may find it through some sort of work-related networking, given how work-focused this is for you, Virgo. Or you may feel comfortable starting to look for love again if you've been on a break and off the scene for a while, now that some of the work and money pieces are falling into place. Very exciting, Virgo. This new moon solar eclipse seems to have you feeling very, very blessed and one of the most fortunate of all the signs. Let's take a look at this new moon solar eclipse now for Libra. Virgo, if you heard something that resonates for you, definitely hit that like button and let me know in the comments. Libra, this new moon solar eclipse is all about you. Happy birthday, Libra. And I'm really excited about this for you because it seems to be the permanent solidification of a new chapter in your life where you know who you are, who you're not, and what you're willing to do and not do anymore in the arena of work. This breakthrough point may be the function of some new alliances that are now showing you exactly how valued you really are in the world, especially because of Juno being in the partnership sign, our partnership asteroid, and Venus there being in the sign of earned income. It does seem like the world is reflecting back to you how valuable you are at this point and how much you really are appreciated for what you do. There are many which this new moon solar eclipse featuring the ruler of your career sector, the moon itself. Here, there are many Libras who will start a new business or project or personal brand or new job or career at this time. Some of you may even publish work or a body of work affiliated with your name. So congratulations, Libra. This debut has been a long time coming. There's also some indication that because of the lessons you've learned with Make and Lilith starring roles at this eclipse, that you will need to deploy a clear yes and a clear no at times so that you're not going along to get along in circumstances where people want to support your elevation but may not be doing it in ways that are actually supportive to you. So use the Mercury that's a part of this eclipse here to know what you want. State it clearly so you're able to take advantage of this energy without feeling taken advantage of, Libra. If you need any support, definitely book a reading with me over at kmoonastro.com. Link to do that is below this video. Libra, where it comes to love, this new moon solar eclipse sees the ruler of your love sector, Mars, slowing down to prepare for a retrograde that starts in 2 days after this eclipse. Because Mars is in the career sector, this may see any past related love connection from the world of career resurface between now and February for you to decide if you'd like to dance with this person again. Are you both different people enough? Have you both learned enough? Have you both shed enough of the past to have a completely fresh start and be willing to see each other through the eyes of a completely clean slate? These are the types of questions that you're going to need to answer for yourself because you're looking at them and all. Because if you are looking at the other person and all you can see is what happened in the past, then I can honestly say it is going to make it hard for something new to work, even if you really wanted to. You will need to give the other person, and they'll need to give you the gift of grace that comes with understanding how growth works and that you're both not who you used to be. You certainly aren't with Make and Lilith in your sign, conjunct this new moon solar eclipse. This is going to really give you a chance to see where you went left before. Now you can go right. For those of you in committed bonds, this new moon solar eclipse could see you ready to turn over a new leaf with your partners and create a completely different timeline together. This does look like it will take some level of going through the past to figure out what has not worked, so you know what to do and what not to do in the future. Through this deeper dive, and it looks like it's a lot of communication, a lot of conversation, especially through February with the Mars retrograde. And as we kick off that Mars retrograde, since Mercury is square that Mars, this does seem to be initiated, a lot of it by you. So where you're guided to put in the work, I can say it does look like it will pay off. You got this, Libra. So excited for you and this new beginning. If you heard something that resonates or illuminates, definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. Let's take a look at Scorpio at this new moon solar eclipse. Scorpio, this eclipse takes place in the area of your chart that has to do with your subconscious mind and your intuition and dreams. This will open for you a psychic connection to someone special, or perhaps sees you beginning to approach relationships in a new way, even if you don't know why, since this position in the chart is frequently associated with our blind spots. Now, some of you will even begin working with these themes in your dreams of partners from the past. Now, because it includes one of the rulers of your love sector, Juno, it does seem to have you very focused on how you can do love differently. Scorpio, even if you don't know how to just yet, this is part of a deeper process of transformation that you've been growing through when it comes to knowing how to have love in a way that supports you being all of yourself and in a healthy and balanced relationship. Since Libra is our collective sign that deals with fairness and balance, Scorpio, this new moon solar eclipse seems to have you clear about where you've done some things before or allowed some things before that have not served you in having a healthy love connection, and you know you're capable of more. As a result of this, you may feel like you're going through an awakening that's causing you to review some of your past actions and choices, with Mars, your ancient ruler, squaring this particular eclipse from the arena that has to do with your raw potential and belief systems. That sector also has to do with second marriages. This may see you drawn to someone from your past, or at least mining the past for where the option to make a different choice was, so that you can end up in new places in love. Now, for some, this may even mean taking a class or getting some education, because the sector that Mars is in has everything to do with continuing education. So, if you don't know how to make things different or make different choices, you may find that you do soon through deploying the help of a teacher or an educator. Much of this is about you coming into the realization that to get to a different kind of outcome in love, you're gonna have to be a different kind of person, Scorpio. And as you lean into this truth, the power to generate a new chapter shows itself, whether you're in a committed bond or looking for someone new. Great work, Scorpio. I know this is a massive elevation. If you heard something that resonates, please hit that like button or subscribe if you're new. Welcome. Great to have you. Let's take a look at this new moon solar eclipse now. Uh, ooh, Scorpio, we did not do, I have one more for you, the rest of your life. Ah, there we go. Scorpio, where it comes to love, Scorpio, or other areas of life, this new moon solar eclipse does seem to be the kickoff to a return of something that has to do with your day-to-day life, your routines, and your health. Now, for some, this will mean the resurfacing of some form of volunteer work or other type of service work. For others, this will see the return of a boss or employee or some form of a temporary project. And for others, this could be the resurfacing of a health issue that you thought you previously handled. This is where you may find that you need to step up your game when it comes to the mind-body connection, in particular with Mars. Let's see, highlight Mars. Mars is the governor of this health and well-being sector. Okay. And so, if there is any amount of emotional distress that could play a contributing factor to a health challenge, this new moon solar eclipse will show it, since that Mars is square Chiron in the wellness sector. Now, this is a great time to do a physical and see your doctor if anything comes up. But also, don't discount the psychosomatic component to your wellness, Scorpio, and handle any latent emotions and day-to-day stress that could contribute to physiological symptoms playing up at this time. For those of you for whom this is playing out in a work or service-related manner, if there has been any way in which the people involved have triggered self-esteem or worthiness issues, Scorpio, this new moon solar eclipse will give you the courage to confront the shadows that allowed you to feel singled out, abandoned, or rejected at work, so that you can begin to stand in the true light and leadership that's yours to claim. This is fantastic news because Scorpio, both in love and work, this new moon solar eclipse is about owning your power and coming out of the shadows and playing small. So congratulations, the changes that you're making now, both inside and outside, will allow you to be the main character in your life. And it is about time. Go Scorpio. Now we can talk to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this new moon solar eclipse for you takes place in a sector of your life having to do with friendships, colleagues, goals, hopes, wishes, and dreams, and the helpful people that show up to assist you in accomplishing those. This new moon solar eclipse sees you accomplishing some form of dream that you've had in your sights for some time, or renewing your commitment to accomplish that dream. With the help of Lilith and Make at this eclipse, we do see that there is recognition you're going to need to do things differently this time in order to get where you want to go. You also seem to know exactly what that's going to be, even if you don't know how to do it yet. There is indication that you may build some new alliances, friendships, and collaborations that can help you with this. Now, for some of you, this will be a renewed friendship that shows up where you're recognizing what you and this person are, and that, yes, you may be simpatico and also have more living left to do with one another. But where there have been challenges in the friendship in the past, this new moon solar eclipse will give you both what you need to talk things through. Thank you, Mercury. And move forward with a new understanding of who one another is and what each person needs in order to make it work. And if you need any support with that, Sagittarius, definitely feel free to book a reading. Where it comes to love, Sag, this new moon solar eclipse indicates a relationship renewal and or breakthrough with the ruling planet of your love sector, Mercury, playing a starring role at this eclipse, and in communication with Jupiter, who's expanding and bringing opportunities in your love sector at this eclipse. For those of you caught up in love triangles, it does look like a decision gets made here, and the decision is one that is in alignment with your hopes, wishes, and dreams, even if it doesn't look like it on the surface. For those of you in a committed bond, this is where you see the relationship progress into its natural next phase of both of you accomplishing dreams together. And for those of you looking for love, this new moon solar eclipse can see you meet someone and start a new love affair that is so exactly what you're looking for. You may have to pinch yourself to believe it. Now, I'll be honest, it is most likely with this eclipse that this is a new beginning with something old, especially in light of the most recent Mercury retrograde and the coming Mars retrograde that begins 2 days after this eclipse in your intimacy sector. A quick note that I also want to add, I'm also noticing for you, Sagittarius, this is likely where you could take a friendship, something that's just been in the friendship arena, and turn it into something love at this particular eclipse. This is where something that has been a part of the past as well, and maybe was just a flirtation, actually begins to grow roots. Even if it's just the sense that psychically and spiritually, you and someone else are on the same page with Venus in your sector that deals with the subconscious mind and psychic communication. This new moon solar eclipse seems to blow the doors wide open so that you can get what you want in love, Sagittarius. Lean into the energy of this and trust that with Make Make and Lilith in the mix, whatever it was before, it can never be that again. Instead, it can be better. If you heard something that resonates or illuminates, Sag, definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. Welcome. Great to have you. Let's take a look at this new moon solar eclipse for Capricorn. Capricorn, this new moon solar eclipse takes place in your career sector and has some very interesting conversations going on, which we'll get to in a moment. But this does seem to have to do with your public reputation as well. There is a level of the past resurfacing in your career space and public life. Now, for some, this is going to be as simple as reprising a role at work that you previously held. For others, there's some level of a connection between the past with your family and romantic relationships that's creeping into your public face. It could be as simple as stepping back into the family business after some time apart, or more like taking on a role in the business that another family member previously held. There's something about this moment that feels like things may have come full circle between work, family, and your love life, Capricorn, even if it's just breaking through a level in both love or career that neither of your parents were able to get to. So, congratulations, this breakthrough was hard won. For a few caps out there, you'll find that this is the beginning of a promotion that has you ready to do things your way in the role, and even sees you taking on team members that you may need to supervise with Mercury, governor of the sector that deals with the relationship between bosses and employees, playing a starring role at this eclipse, which is elevating you among all of your other peers. And lastly, for others, there could be a chance of a new chapter in your physical health and well-being and self-care that's going to allow you to operate at a much higher level of productivity and success in your career, with Jupiter transiting your wellness sector and routine sector in harmony with this eclipse. All I can say is get it, Capricorn. It looks like you're really getting after it. So right on, and congratulations. If you heard something that resonates or illuminates, definitely subscribe and hit that like button. I'm here at the new and the full moon to give you these energy updates so you know what to expect. Let's take a look at this new moon solar eclipse for Aquarius. Aquarius, for you, this energy takes place in a sector of the sky that has to do with your faith, potential, long distance travel, higher education or continuing education, and religious organizations. So there's a lot that this could mean. For some Aquarians, this is a renewal in one of these areas that could look and feel like a recommitment and allow you to go to the next level of leadership with these groups, such as getting into a doctoral program, getting your visa approved, joining a faith-based group. It does seem to come with some level of commitment, and the commitment you make does allow you to structure it in your own way based on things you've learned in the past. With this in mind, you may see that if this requires you to step up in some level of service, since the service sector is governed by the moon, and the moon is certainly featured here, if this requires you to step up in some level of service, you'll find that you need to make some choices about how to give what you can without compromising yourself to do so. And this may be about allowing other people to step up as this Mars retrograde in the sector that deals with service and physical health and well-being that starts 2 days after this eclipse kicks off a season that extends through February and speaks to dealing with the balance between the demands of others and your own needs, knowing that in order to give the best, you also have to be in your best shape. So definitely lock in that self-care, Aquarius. And if you need any support, you know where to find me. Now, where it comes to love, Aquarius, if you're open to it, there does seem to have this new moon solar eclipse does seem to surface some past contacts that may have something to do with your travels, higher education, or faith-based organizations. Someone could pop up from your past that has to do with these experiences who potentially would like to revisit what is between the two of you, especially with the governor of your love sector, the sun, playing that starring role in this eclipse. Now, if you should hear from someone from these places, know that you have the capacity to not repeat a cycle with Lilith and Make in the mix. The two of them are helping you to lock in the lessons of the past so that this new beginning cannot go in the direction it previously went in. It just won't be possible. With that in mind, you can proceed knowing that you've learned a lot, you've come a long way, and you will be capable of making new choices and having new conversations should anything old pop up with Mercury playing a starring role in this eclipse. Now, for Aquarians in a committed bond, this new moon solar eclipse could see you and your partner reuniting after a time apart, either due to visiting family or for educational purposes. Could also see you and your partner taking a trip, a class, or joining a faith-based organization together. Anything of that nature taken on at this time seems to create a strong renewal and deepening of the bond between the two of you. And this gives you both the opportunity to see one another and your connection in a stronger light. So exciting for you, Aquarius. If you've heard something that resonates, please hit that like button and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you at the next lunar update. And lastly, but never leastly, let's talk to Pisces. Pisces, this new moon solar eclipse for you takes place in a sector of the sky that deals with secrets, physical intimacy, and what we call other people's money. This could be investments, grants, loans, lottery winnings, inheritances, or money that's owed via credit, taxes, loans, and mortgages. This new moon solar eclipse will allow those of you who have been trying to get a financial breakthrough or approval for a workspace or a home to actually get it. Now, if you've needed investors for business, it's very likely you can find them with the help of this eclipse. And if you've needed a business partner or a silent partner in a business, this eclipse seems to provide the answer to a prayer given Jupiter's trine to the eclipse from Gemini here. Now, there is some indication that this eclipse strategize creatively to make sure all of the financial needs are met, with Mars preparing to go retrograde and in square to this eclipse. Mars is the ruler here of your daily cash flow, money spent, money earned sector of the sky. With this in mind, it does look like reprising some form of either old work or service will unlock the answers you need for increased confidence and cash flow at this time. If you need any support walking through that, you can always find me over at kmoonastro.com. Now, where it comes to love, Pisces, this new moon solar eclipse opens the door to someone from the past that you may have thought either long gone or the connection long dead. And yet, here it is, knocking on your door once again. For some of you, this is a situationship that never evolved past the physical connection, Pisces, or a deep bond that had to remain a secret. For others, this is something that had the benefit of fully running its course and is now ready for a new chapter and resurrection. It may start off passionate or, once again, a secret given the position of this eclipse in that sector of the sky, but it does seem to show itself as having real potential to go much further if both people are willing to have new conversations, thank you, Mercury, and approach the connection through new eyes, an open heart, open mind, and clean slate. What you do with this will, of course, be up to you. And if you're so inclined to be the initiator of a reunion of this sort, with Mars squaring the eclipse from your sector of manifestation, dating, flirtation, and romance, it will be important to be willing to see the other person for who they are now, as opposed to what you remember them being like. For those in a committed bond, this new moon solar eclipse shows you and your partner some very passionate times and gives you the opportunity to explore some new things that could spice things up in the bedroom and think or didn't work out before, but now there's a new sense of safety and communication that can help you explore your bond in new ways. For many in a committed bond, this new moon solar eclipse will be more financial than anything else. And you may find that you and your partner get approved for a loan, a second mortgage, or be able to put down money on a joint investment that will have significant returns in the fullness of time. No matter what, Pisces, this new beginning does showcase you having clarity about what matters to you, who matters to you, and how you want to be valued by others. So go forward with courage. It does look like this energy proves quite favorable for you in all circumstances. And Pisces, if you have heard something that resonates, definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. Love being able to chat with new folks. And I will be in the comments for 1 hour after this reading to chat you guys up and connect and answer questions. So if you've got any questions, hit me up below. And I look forward to seeing you at the next lunar upgrade update. Take great care and bye for now.